Senate Bill SB 1377. Short title, Civil Liability, Public Health Pandemic. This bill was introduced by Senator LEACH down in Tucson, and it will be heard in the House Judiciary Committee on Wednesday. And this is actually pretty simple bill. What it does very simply, it says that you cannot take advantage of a pandemic in order to sue people and try to make money off of it simply because there was a pandemic that took place, and there are rules and regulations regarding that. The actual summary of the bill reads as follows. For civil suits resulting from damages during a pandemic-related state of emergency, the burden of proof is elevated from the customary preponderance of evidence to clear and convincing evidence. Now, let me explain what that means. Normally, and Archie knows a lot more about this than I would, but let me try to explain it. Normally, in a lawsuit, all it takes in order for the person that brings up the lawsuit is to show a preponderance of evidence that the other person did something wrong. Now, what this does is that in cases involving this pandemic and people trying to sue, say, for example, a restaurant claiming that they did not take the proper precautions or whatever, that in these cases, instead of just using a preponderance of evidence, you go to the next level, which is clear and convincing evidence. And this bill is it's aimed specifically at preventing the abuses that would likely take place because people try to make money off of it. How do you prove that that you were infected at the particular restaurant or a particular business? It's hard to prove, but regardless, the person or the business has to defend itself, and that costs money, and of course the lawyers make money, and possibly the person bringing on the suit. But the consumer ends up paying at the end because, as you know, corporations don't pay anything. Either if the insurance companies have to pay, your premiums go up, you pay. And it's that simple. So I agree that this is a good bill. And from what I could read, this applies only when there is a pandemic. I don't think it's a general law. It applies only when a pandemic has been declared. And you may want to clarify that, I don't know, but reading the bill, that's the impression that I got. So I'm in favor of it.
Good, yeah.
About yours?
Well, let's take a look at who it protects. For this purposes, there's eight entities that it protects. One is a person who furnishes consumer or business goods or services or entertainment. Okay, that's good so far. An educational institution or district, a school district or a charter school, a property owner, property manager, property lessor or lessee, whatever that might be, a nonprofit organization, a religious institution, this state or an agency or instrumentality of this state, a local government or political subdivision of this state, including a department, agency, or commission of a local government or political subdivision. So the ones that most of the people that are being protected are government agencies. Yeah, if you and I are running a mom and pop restaurant, not so sure it protects us much.
Well, it does. They were included now. The reason why it protects the government more than it protects the business is because there's more government than business. I mean, if you're gonna protect everybody, you're gonna protect the government more because we're at the state where the government has its claws on just about everything.
But the government is the one that's that's imposing limitations on you.
Well, good. It's about time we have some limitations.
Well, yeah, but I mean, the limitations that they're posing may or may not be terribly good, as you can see that everybody's fighting back against it. I don't have a problem necessarily with the bill, but I think they need to go more in trying to protect, the small business owner here, that the one that's.
And I agree with that. Yeah. I agree with that 100%.
And they're just, it's not clear that they're doing that from
that. Yeah, and this is one thing, and this is one opportunity that I like to take to explain something to you folks. And that is that we are in a situation here in the state of Arizona where any bill that we introduce, any bill that we try to advance, has to be moderated. It has to be curtailed because of the political situation that we have. We have a one vote advantage in the House and one vote advantage in the Senate. That is the Republicans. And if you look at this, at the results of this bill, how the people voted, it was 100% Republican for and 100% Democrat against it. So all it takes is for one Republican to say, I don't like this bill, okay, and then the bill fails.
That's correct.
Okay? So, as a result of that, you cannot do a lot of what you should be doing. You are limited as to what you can do. And we are limited as to what we can do here. And that's what's happening. I would like to have this, have some more teeth. I would like for it to be stronger. But we cannot get it passed if we do. So we take a little bit, which is not much, but we take a little bit now that we can. And maybe later we can take another little bit. So that's the way it works, folks. We don't like it. I don't like it, but that's the reality of life. So anyway, I think we both agree that this is a good bill and deserves a yes rating from us.
Correct.